Kelvin the Clam is mine.
Can we just start the episode with Calvin the Clam? That's me.
Hey,
I'm Calvin. We can't do a West Country accent though, right?
the
That's
American
we
accents.
can't do it. Well, how do they?
Nice
My
to meet you.
name is Kerbert Dingleballs. I've been no, it knocked me out. Wait, I'm here. I've been guarding on this post for many, many years. I'm gonna Americans are like our main audience. We cannot alienate them with our terrible accents. Sam, do your terrible accent. Go on.
Okay. But let's do prim upper English. Let's do the upper
No,
English.
this is all in the video, Sam. The video's here now. This is it. This is content, baby. We're making content
It's
right
true.
now. We're contenting.
Okay.
This is what we've signed up for.
Why, hello there. Welcome to the guard post. It's me, Kelvin the Clam.
Wait. Is that American? Is that
It's
that sounds like
me upper English.
upper, like posh.
Hello there.
Hello.
Welcome.
Isn't that like
Kelvin
English?
Clam.
It's knocked you out of focus. Was on guard, Judy. I did see out there in the wide yonder many creatures of ill repute. Monsters, I would declare, and I would say this episode should be about monsters.
I agree, my esteemed colleague. Let's proceed.
Monsters. Monsters
Yes.
are an important part of any D&D campaign or TTRPG campaign.
They are indeed.
What is the difference between like a monster and a villain? You know, I mean, monsters could be villains, but
They
is there a
could.
differentiation there? What is that differentiation? Do you think?
So, I think there's a distinction between monster and villain, and I think there's also a distinction between monster and beast. So you can have a
Interesting.
beast, which is like they could be a predator, it could be a bear.
Yeah,
a bear
Beast makes
is-
me think nature
Is a
kinda
monster?
like
Yeah,
natural.
exactly. But is the bear evil because it wants to eat you? No, it's just your food.
Instinctual.
It's just instinctual. You're just prey, and it's a predator. You could have monsters though that are much darker. Like a vampire is a monster.
classed
They
as
are
a
a
monster,
person,
yeah.
I guess, but they're also a monster. There's a scary aspect to them. Now, like a monster in a story can represent like a force of nature. It can be a tension. They're being hunted by something and they don't know what they're being hunted by. The classic horror movie monster where you see like a tail whip past the window and then you hear a growl and then they recede and all of those sorts of things. It's very, very spooky.
It's like the definition, I guess, of a monster being like, because vampires are humanoids, but
They are.
they're like a
Yes.
subversion of that, right? Is a monster something that is uncanny or something that it maybe uncanny is the wrong word, but like unnatural. There's kind of an
Yes.
unnatural element to them. There's something that's like supernatural, I guess, in a sense, right? And you can have your monster be a villain, but sometimes I think of monsters like when I think of monsters, I think of like abominations and like otherworldly Cthulhu-esque kind of like, you know,
I'm glad you said
eldritch
Cthulhu.
kind of horrors, which are not as, if you were to use kind of D&D logic, they would be more chaotic than lawful, kind of evil for evil's sake, I guess, than their law being kind of evil. Which is really interesting. The thing I think of monsters straight away is like monster hunters, which, you know, you get monsters, you get monster hunters. Then I think of The Witcher, and I think of all the amazing
Very cool.
all the amazing monsters that are in those books and in the game. This, you know, taking from Polish folklore as well, like the Striga and the Leshen,
Yeah.
like all those like amazing monsters, and there being that kind of archetypal monster hunter, which is really cool. I guess monsters, in a sense, what I think is quite interesting about them, that they all have to be unique, right? You don't have the werewolf and the vampire. They have similar elements of nighttime, but they are they're different. They have different powers, they have different abilities, they have different weaknesses. I think if you're making a monster for a TTRPG campaign, I think you really want to focus down on a unique appearance. So it needs to look different than anything else if you want to make it really unique. You've got to focus down on unique abilities. Super strong, supernatural strength is probably a normal one. Vulnerability or resistance probably quite one, but do they eat people's dreams? Do they have a way of being able to get into buildings that are always locked? Like, you can't lock them out. They just somehow always arrive into a building. You can't lock them out. Or do they have certain laws that they have to uphold? The vampire can't come in unless you invite it in. What are the kind of like weaknesses? And I think that's how you can give a monster a really unique kind of vibe and feel. Do you have any examples? Sorry to put you on the spot again, but can you think of any like examples in where you've made monsters in your campaigns that have worked quite well? Like, be kind of like, I've got one.
Go on.
You go. If you've not gone, so mine would be something like the Hunger, which were they were from the Nether, so a place that is not like the Minecraft Nether. It was cooler than that, guys. Okay. Just so you know, it was like an antimatter world where these horrible things lived, and the Hunger were like normal mortal people that were corrupted by this essence, but the essence of the Nether was magic, so no magic had effect on them. No matter how powerful you were, they were complete anti-magic creatures, and they would just come after you. They were constantly hungry. They couldn't speak. All they wanted to do was just eat and consume magical essence. And so attacking them would make them stronger. And it made it so all these powerful people would attack with a legendary sword, but the sword would become just a normal +3 longsword. You weren't able to use any of the abilities on the sword on them. You weren't able to cast magic at them. And it completely hamstrung the party to a point where whenever they saw these things, they had to run away. They couldn't do anything about it, which is quite cool.
What's cool? I did run vampires a lot. I had a vampires big theme in my latest campaign, and that was a lot of fun. And you can play with
Vargulf type things as well, didn't you? Like,
we had the
vampiric
sort of
monstrosities. Yeah, they were really cool.
So as I've said before, I'm a massive Warhammer fan. That's what I grew up in, is Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer 40k. And Warhammer Fantasy had these Vargulfs, and the Vargulf is basically like, and I'm sure they come from mythology themselves, but the Vargulf was basically where a vampire's lost control of their thirst. They've basically gone, I'm not a human anymore. I'm not even going to attempt to be a human. I am going to just transform to this massive bat monster. And they were like the shock troop siege monster that would just turn up, rip the gates open of the keep and just start devouring people. But they were so cool because they were a spooky bat monster with like frayed wings. Yeah, they are cool. Super cool.
The idea of like them losing to the first is such a good art.
Yeah, it is. It is great. It is great. And you had werewolves, which I really liked, because the werewolves you had were like mangy, horrible, gangly werewolves. They weren't like you turn into a wolf like Twilight. It was like they are horrible, mangy, nasty.
Think kind of Bloodborne style people who play games, that kind of like a bit too lanky, kind of hunched over, mangy. It's because they were servants of a god of wrath, so I wanted that kind of feel of them being not quite perfected, but kind of hunched over their pain and anguish type thing. Yeah, I love it.
Now, one thing I think that's really cool with monsters is mythology's done loads of these, and like the Herculean labours, where he has to fight loads of different monsters.
Yeah.
Like the Hydra's core thing is you chop one head off and it grows 2 more. How do you deal with that? Really
unique ability again. There we
go.
That's
unique ability.
Yeah.
Was it the Nemean lion had a pelt you couldn't pierce, so he had to strangle it? Did he have to like suffocate
I don't know.
it?
I'm not that
I feel like
in,
he then wears the pelt, the Nemean lion. But I always thought, how did he get the pelt off? Maybe it's not the Nemean lion. Maybe I've messed that up. But that core thing of this thing they can do, the Medusa,
yes,
like the Medusa, like if you look at it, you touch stone, and if it catches you, so you've got to look through the shield and stuff like that. Just awesome, great narrative, awesome.
Yeah,
I really love that.
Talking about like the Nether, when we were talking about, we had actual creatures that came from there, and one of the main monsters of pretty much all my campaigns was a Nether called Grell. And he was, like we were discussing in the kind of item episode, of that kind of NPC that gets found for a curse item and then like keeps appearing, keeps kind of striking deals with the party. Obviously a bad person, but you kind of need their help. And just touching in like unique sensory details to him. So Grell had these long talony fingers, but every time he would appear, you would hear the clicking of these horrible things. He would always roll his fingers, and they were like many jointed, like 5 joints, and it makes something Uncanny Valley, taking it away from, or taking something that's normal and distorting it to make it monstrous. Multiple clicky fingers. So they'd be doing something would happen, and they'd be walking in the dark, and then you hear like, and then they go, oh, it was that instant. There's a sound, and that sound links us straight to trauma of this character, and we're about to be thrown into something here. Something's about to happen. So having that kind of a sense, or maybe your Xenomorph. Xenomorph has the slime, the constant ectoplasm like leaking from its mouth. So whenever you go anywhere and you see this ectoplasm, you know that it's been there. And then when it nests up, it makes the horrible walls that look like it too, so it can hide in them. And yeah, like making these kind of sensory details that make a monster really unnatural and unique. That's really
Xenomorph cool. Is such a good point, because I think they're one of the best designed things in any film. They're so scary.
Yeah.
And like, even if you hurt it, its acid blood will get you as well.
Yeah.
It's so much bigger and faster than you. It has the pharyngeal fling out jaws.
Yeah.
Claws. It's just horrendous. It's just horrendous.
The ultimate killing.
It's the ultimate killing machine. Yeah,
and it's also, they base it off ants or bees, so it's a drone, so it has no feelings, no emotions. It's just doing its job. It's going to do that. Rip and tear, procreate.
Yeah.
Keep going. That's its kind of like pure animal instinct. They're great, and there's so many good. Like, I love the Hydra, the cutting off one head and it coming back stronger. Like, okay, whoa. We can't do that anymore. We have to find a different way of beating this thing. There's the Medusa. We can't look at it. Like, putting in these really kind of powerful things that have to make a kind of, the basilisk from Harry Potter.
Yeah, the basilisk
petrifies you. Which is the kind of Medusian thing anyway. Hippogriffs. Because, would you say like a hippogriff is a monster? It's maybe a good monster.
Because, I think in Harry Potter, they're magical beasts, aren't they? They make them.
Does monster mean evil?
Exactly. They make it as neutral, but then like the basilisk's purpose is clearly evil.
Yeah.
Because Salazar Slytherin left it there to kill like Muggleborns. That was its aim.
Yeah.
So it's you go, even if the basilisk itself doesn't actually hate Muggleborns, it's a weapon of a horrible agenda, isn't it? So it's evil aligned in that respect. But yeah, you can have, just because a monster exists doesn't mean it's necessarily the enemy of anybody. It could just be a monster that lives like a dragon. The dragon is probably the most classic monster beast thing ever.
Yeah.
If a dragon often is just there and you roll up on it and it doesn't want you to be there because you're a threat to it, so it's going to attack you. It's not necessarily evil. You can go down the Smaug evil dragon, intelligent dragon route, but a lot of the time it just has a nest of eggs and it just doesn't want you near the eggs, so it kills you.
That's so interesting. Like, monster seems to be such a broad kind of like word that encompasses so much stuff. And I didn't think about this kind of relation to magical beast and monster, and there being a kind of like separation there of, okay, hippogriff falls in magical beast because we don't want to like tie them to being a monstrosity.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So that's really interesting. There's like a differentiation there that I hadn't seen before. One thing for like monsters, we talked about this a bit with the Grell with the fingers, is like getting that explicit response from that monster. Is it like grotesque? Like all the let's do Warhammer Nurgle stuff. Oh, it's got entrails hanging out. It stinks. Flies following.
Oh yeah.
Oh, disgust. Is it awe? Is it this magnificent like monster, like a dragon? It's magnificent, and you're trying to inspire awe. Is it pity? Is it like many faces of weeping people that are like trapped in this amalgamation, eldritch horror style, and you're like, oh, that's really horrible for whoever's been trapped in that. That you can use these or is it fear? Is it like an abomination of just utter terror that only is out there to feast on dreams, nightmares? Like a nightmare eater is always a really fun thing. So yeah, getting that kind of, what is your monster? What's a monster trying to do? What is it? What is its point? And you can connect it to like folklore, and folklore's connecting it to the world. So if you're creating it for a book, D&D, anything, a game, connecting it to the world. So say there's a place of lagoons. Okay, that's cool. There's loads of, like, pools. Maybe this monster's amphibious. It's like Witcher would say, like, the Striggers, like, there's some stuff about like how they're made as well, like the circumstances. Say if it was like a young child died untimely, and that's how you said about the basilisk, it's a chicken egg or something that you
serpent, so you put a serpent on a chicken egg and then it becomes a basilisk.
Yeah, so like having these kind of like monster, how are they made? Are they like a horrible curse that's fallen upon someone, or the chicken in the serpent's nest? Could you attach this to the place of lagoon, so it's like if a newt eats a frog at some time in the moon, they meld together and become this large monstrosity amphibian that plagues these pools. Sea hags, maybe like a woman drowns in the lagoon and comes back possessed, doesn't want to die and comes back possessed by a demonic spirit. Now they're a sea hag that kind of lurks around these pools and causes horrible folks or something, you know. Yeah.
I always liked the Kraken. It's the most iconic of like, there's a tentacle in the water. Everyone goes, oh, it's a Kraken. Oh no, it's a Kraken. And then it's a Kraken. And then you fight the Kraken, and that's just
you're so helpless as well. I think monsters can be that, like, with a Kraken you're helpless. You're on a wooden dinghy in the ocean, and then something that is huge and can just swat you out of the sea. You're away from the land. This is your little bit of land, and it can destroy that in seconds. Like, there's something about that vulnerableness, isn't there? About the vulnerability about being out there.
Pirates of the Caribbean did that well, where the Kraken is just like, it's just game over, isn't it? If the Kraken shows up, your ship is literally toast.
It's cash.
Yeah, you're totally toast.
That's I can't remember that bit from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, in the second one, where Davy Jones can control the Kraken.
Oh, I have to rewatch this film. Not seen it.
He has it on tap. He's got like a.
It comes from Greek mythology, doesn't it? The Kraken.
Yeah, the Kraken
is Titans or something.
Definitely a Greek thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So many good ones. So many good ones. To be honest, ancient Greece had loads. Like the Minotaur in the Labyrinth is an awesome thing because it comes hand in hand. When you hear Labyrinth, that in itself is cool, but you immediately think of the Minotaur. On Crete, and like that's really iconic.
Yeah. That's attaching a place to a thing again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's so many cool ones. There's so many cool ones.
Mythology is a great place to dig.
Yes.
I think if you're making your own monster, look to try and make it unique. But I would pull things. The Chimera's another one as well.
Chimeras are great.
Smashing animals together seems to be quite a normal thing to do. So yeah, I would look at kind of try and make something really out there, something that's going to put some fear into your players, something that's a bit spooky, and like the set rules. I think that's a really important one. Like set weaknesses, set rules is quite good for monsters.
That's always cool because people can discover the rules, and if people you could do it in a D&D campaign, but it could be in a book or whatever, where they take time to accrue the plot points, so that they then know the weakness is silver bullets to the werewolf.
Yeah.
Because they've got the silver bullets, the next time they fight the werewolf, it's more even than the first time where the werewolf just shredded all the guards and just went ham on everyone, you know. That's always really fun.
What's your favourite monster then?
Oh.
What would be your favourite monster? That's such a hard question. There's so many good ones, actually.
Dragons are always cool.
Okay, if dragons are under the monster category,
but for me, the Xenomorph, I think.
The Xenomorph?
The Xenomorph is so iconic.
Yeah.
It's so incredibly iconic. I really, really love the Xenomorph.
Yeah, the Xenomorph's a good one. I really like Gorgons. I really like the Medusa. There's something about that, like there's the twist on beauty, like that kind of like. I mean, actually, the Medusa story is actually really harrowing, quite sad, isn't it? I think actually she gets cursed by Aphrodite or something for being beautiful or something like that, right? But like that kind of like twist on the beauty with the snake hair, it's so iconic. The turning to stone, the giant snake body. Like talking about Warhammer, I play. Daughters of Cain, which is all like Medusa bodies. I just think they look so cool. Like the half serpentine, half human is just so like, oh, there's something so weird about it.
It is really spooky, cool. But really cool, isn't it?
Yeah. Cool. Monsters then.
Brilliant. There's a lot. There's a lot of cool monsters, man.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add on this? Any last little piece you think we haven't covered?
No, I don't think so. I really enjoyed finding that kind of like the differentiation between beasts, mythical beasts, and monsters, and there being a strange line, and trying to explore kind of like where a monstrosity starts and kind of where a magical beast kind of begins. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
It's just context and perspective, isn't it? To the person being hunted by the dragon is evil, but it's not. Yeah. It's just it just wants to eat you.
Yeah.
And you attacking the dragon when it's guarding its eggs, it's going to attack you back because you're trying to kill its eggs. So you're evil to it. It's just a matter of perspective, isn't it?
Really, being a monster is just a matter of perspective, guys. Yeah. That's what we're saying right now, okay? Think before you call someone a monster, all right? Yeah, okay. I love that. Awesome. That's great. Okay.
Absolutely excellent. Well, once again, I want to thank everybody for joining us, coming along. We love making these episodes and we can't wait to do the next one. Mm-hmm. What you could do in the meantime is like, comment, subscribe, notifications, share what we've been doing. Comments is something I really want even more of. We've been really enjoying the comments we've been getting and we'd love even more. Just tell us what you're thinking. What monster did we miss out that's really iconic?
Yes.
Is there any monsters you've made in a book, song, film, D&D campaign that you want to tell us about? Let us know. In 2 more weeks, we'll be posting another episode coming up soon, which we're really excited about that as well. Just let us know. And finally, Connor, I'm going to give you more run-up this time.
Okay.
For the final part.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Keep on rolling.
Yay! Got it. Oh, and not a bead of sweat on the floor.
Not a bead of sweat on that one.
He's clean.
See you next time, guys.
Nice one, guys. Thank you, guys. See you later.